Hello gamers, and welcome back to another episode of Solo Spelunking. And tonight I will continue my Star Wars game, the Rima Vess Chronicles, featuring my Shadow Dark inspired print-on-demand sci-fi rule set Shadow Space together with my Toolbox. But before I do that, I want to start with a heartfelt thank you because I have reached my goal for this year and I have hit 2,000 subscribers, but it is pretty close. So last time I checked, I was at 2001. So please do not unsubscribe. And if you like this channel and haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing because it costs you nothing and it makes me happy. And to celebrate my 2,000 subscribers and as a little thank you to all of you, all my products on DriveThruRPG are 50% off until and including the first week of December. So yeah, if you want to pick up some stuff, go check it out. And of course also check out my print-on-demand products on Amazon. Just type my name in the search bar. All right, so but now we are going to continue with our adventure. It's been a while, so let me give you a little recap. So this beautiful lady here in her Mandalorian battle armor is Rima Vess, infamous, notorious bounty huntress, and she took on a commission, a bounty commission from a Hutt, Galtora the Hutt, to hunt down a Rodian bounty hunter who double-crossed Galtora the Hutt. So he collected a quarry, but he teamed up with a quarry, and after he collected the bounty money, they basically shot up the place and and left. And this quarry, he belongs to a gang called the Undertakers, and one of the Rodians, and his name is Meepo Bilb, by the way. So Meepo Bilb is the name of the wanted Rodian, and he has a contact, and this contact is a gang lieutenant from the Undertaker gang. His name is Wilton Mace, and Rima Vess got the information with the bounty scan dog basically as her first starting clue that this Wilton Mace, who is a known associate of her wanted quarry Meepo Bilb, that he has sort of like a rooftop penthouse in the Albeck system, and the Albeck system is also a wretched hive of scum and villainy. And Galtora the Hutt, he is located or was or is located in the Limok system. So last episode we made our way from one wretched hive to the other, fought off a couple of slavers that were attacking us, Rima. She didn't take any damage. She managed to fend them off, and now we resume our adventure with Rima heading for the starport on the planet Ulbeck 4, which is the only populated planet in the system, Ulbeck 4. And Ulbeck 4 has one spaceport town, spaceport city, and that is Beccara Junction. And I've decided I'm going for a space western flair here on Ulbeck 4. So as Rima Vess descends with her heavy starfighter, the Blood Eagle, descends through the upper cloud layers into the atmosphere, the landscape she sees, and that you can see here also on this image, is like a barren, rocky landscape. So we have barren plains, rocky plateaus, think like Grand Canyon, Arizona landscape with those sandstone, reddish mountains. And so she is approaching Beccara Junction, which is, as I've said, the only spaceport city and the only major settlement on Ulbeck 4. There are some minor little settlements as well, but they don't have a starport. They're far out. So that's where she's headed. So this is the landscape she sees, so that you can get an idea. And as she approaches Beccara Junction. Let me see, I keep Beccara Junction. Beccara Junction is it. So I better let my journal open here. She also gets a glimpse of the city. So the city is somewhat similar, looks a little like Mos Eisley, but with squared buildings. So this will be the cityscape. Let me get this up here real quick. So we have these square, sort of like I don't know, sandstone kind of buildings, dirt paved roads with a couple of parked speeders, and the docking bays are scattered around the city. The starport is a standard class starport, so it features basic repair and refueling facilities. And the buildings are 2, maybe or mostly 3 stories high. They have like flat roofs. You can see like communication antenna on top of them. And as I said, dirt paved roads. You can see the sandstone rocky plateaus in the distance. So I'm going for a space western vibe here. And Rima Vess, she contacts traffic control and gets clearance to set down in one of the outlying docking bays, and they're open, sort of like those Mos Eisley docking bays. And she sets the Blood Eagle down into the docking bay and heads out into the city. So what I usually do when I arrive on a planet, I determine time of day using a D20 and a D4. D20 and a D4 for the hour. Oh, it is 1300 hours. So just shortly after high noon. That is actually pretty fitting for like the space western vibe. So she sits down at 1300 hours. Okay. Let me check before. Yeah. Okay, so 1300 hours shortly before noon, and she sets down. So let's just say that in the scan doc she has, there is of course the information that this lieutenant from the Undertaker gang, that he is supposed to have a penthouse here in Beccara Junction on Ulbeck 4, but she doesn't know exactly where it is. So, she knows the name Wilton Mays, but I think, let me determine this randomly, if she also got a picture of him. Let's put this down first. Ulbeck 4, Beccara Junction, so that I don't forget all the time. Okay, so yeah, I'll say it is 50-50 that she's got a picture. 50-50. 35, yes. All right, so she actually in the scan doc has a picture of this Wilton Mays. He's a human, but she doesn't know where his penthouse is, but it's supposed to be in Beccara Junction on this planet someplace. So this is also like the area of operations, or one of the areas of operation of this Undertaker gang. Okay, so yeah, she sits down and she heads into the city, and I think first she just takes a stroll through the main road. Just take a stroll through the main road to get a lay of the land, to get a feel for the place, and she keeps her eyes open and sees if she might notice anything that might give her a hint regarding her quest, like maybe some gang activities. Maybe she identifies some gang crests or whatever. So she walks up and down the main road. And there's also a native sentient species here on this planet, and those are the Albecians. I'll show you a picture in a minute. So there are humans and other Star Wars aliens that you know, but the Albecians are lizard-like. So here I prepared some pictures in advance. So here we have like space western Cantina saloon type, and these creatures here, those are the native Ulbecians. So they're reptilian-like. It fits the warm climate. They come in orange, greenish, and bluish color schemes, and you can see they have very sort of large ears. So I figured, well, let's just, why not have a native species native to this planet, the Albecians, and their species trait, according to my shadow space rules, is because of their large eyes. They have enhanced senses. They can't be surprised. They can see without penalty in dim light, but not complete darkness. And they have a very sensitive sense of smell and can hear very well. So their species trait is enhanced senses, and they're the Albecians, and they're the native species on Ulbec 4. Okay, but and you see him here in the picture also. So they are a common sight in the city streets. So that's the main road. So Rima Vess, she takes a stroll along the main road and looking around to see if there's anything going on. And let me just roll on my random encounter generator, or using my framework, if there's anything happening here. So if we go to the town gameplay procedure, we are in a low security planet. It's a wretched hive of scum and villainy, so the chance for a random encounter is 2 in 6. So let's just roll a d6, and on a 1 or 2, while she's taking a stroll, there will be some form of encounter. No. So at this time of day, everything is quiet and calm. So she walks up and down, walks into the side alleys, and so that was if there's an encounter. Let's just determine if she's able to discern anything that might hint to some gang activity. I'll give it a 30% chance. 82, no. So indeed, it all seems calm. There's very little traffic. Mostly the people walk. Speeders are parked or just sat down on the paved road. So she will head into a saloon / cantina, and enters and takes a seat at an empty table, and after a short while, the bartender, who is a human, by the way, he of course noticed her coming in, and she's quite a sight with her Mandalorian armor, and but she's not like in the Mandalorian series, because if she's got this armor, she basically bought this armor, so she's not like a real true Mandalorian. So she does take off her helmet every once in a while. So she sits down at the table, takes off her helmet. So she's got long black hair, puts it on the table, and the bartender, who has seen her come in, he goes, "Well, there's self-service in this place. If you want something, you've got to pick it up at the bar," he goes. And Rima just looks over to the bar and takes her helmet, carries it underneath her arm, and then sits down at the bar, at a bar stool, looks to her left. There's this Uzbekian sitting there. He just looks towards her and then minds his own business again. And she goes, "I'll have an ale." "Yeah, coming right up," he goes. Then she looks around. "So, any trouble lately?" She just asks the bartender. And he pours her ale and goes, "What do you mean, any trouble?" "Yeah, you know the usual. Any shootings, any brawls recently in your fine establishment? Trouble with any folks that, I don't know, give you a hard time?" And he looks at her and goes, "What's it to you? What are you, some kind of security contractor or what? I don't remember ordering one," he goes. And she says, "Nah, just want to get a feel for the place, you know. Girl's got to take care of herself," she goes. And he looks her up and down and sees her armor and sees her two blasters in her holster and goes, "Well, you look like you can take care of, as if you could take care of yourself," he goes. And she says, "True, but I gotta know if there's anything I gotta look out for." And he just goes, "Nah, it's all quiet here, all quiet." "If you say so." And then she enjoys her ale. So let's just look at the framework here. She's hanging out in a bar, and let's see, on a 5 or 6 she picks up a rumor, and on a 1, so I roll 2d 6, so that'll be the rumor die and that'll be the encounter die. So if the rumor die is a 5 or 6, she hears a rumor, and if the smaller die is a 1, there's some sort of encounter. And also on a 6 there's some sort of challenge. Oh, okay, so no rumor, but an encounter. Bar encounter occurs. Okay, so a bar encounter. So, bar encounter generator. Okay, so she's minding her business, sipping her ale, looking around as there's something now happening. So a patron is activity. So that's the patron and brown is the activity. Let's see. Brown is the activity. So the patron, oh, an undercover security officer is drawing weapons against something. Okay. Okay, against either 6, a security squad. Okay, that's okay. That's then that'll be the gangers. But let's first see if it maybe is against me. 4 or 6 on a d6. Oh yeah, okay. So I rolled up that a what was it? An undercover security officer, I think was it, is drawing weapons against me, the player character. So let's just say the undercover security officer is not really a security officer, because this is like a wretched hive of scum and villainy, but is eyes and ears indeed of the Undertaker gang. And so let's see, male or female. Even is always female, doesn't count. Male, okay, so it's a male. So yeah, so this guy, let's say, is it a native? 1 to 5, it's a native. No, it's not a native, so let's just say it's a human. So a human guy, a human male, was standing in the corner there, eyed me as I came in and overheard my conversation with a bartender. And yeah, and basically walks up to me, so I'm still sitting at the bar stool there, walks up to me and goes, "Huh, for someone who just arrived, you ask a lot of strange and funny questions." And she turns around. Remember, she doesn't have her helmet on yet, or doesn't have her helmet on. She just turns around and goes, "What's it to you?" I don't know. People like you showing up in this fancy armor, wearing 2 blasters. You make people nervous asking questions like that. And he makes this gesture as if he's like smelling and goes, "I don't know. I smell bounty hunter. I mean, it all fits the armor, the questions. And we don't like bounty hunters here," he goes. And she says, "Well, tough luck to you then, I guess." So. And she can tell that he's sort of like assuming the stance like, indeed, like in a Western when there's a duel about to happen, like gunslinger, blaster slinger kind of stance. And his hand slowly hovering above his blaster hilt, and he goes, "Well, you just wear fancy armor and fancy blasters, or do you also know how to use them?" And she just says, "You want to find out?" And he goes, "That's the idea," and tries to quick draw on her. Okay, so he'll be the brown die because of the jacket. I'm going to make a usually it's like I go you go initiative, but this is sort of like a duel kind of situation. So I'm just rolling opposed or compare dexterity check. Rima has +3, and let's just say he's got a dexterity of +1d3. Let's see what's his dexterity. 2. Okay. So he's got a +2 dex. +2 dex. And she's got +3. And let's just say, see what happens. So they're drawing blasters. Ooh, look at this. Natural 20. Okay, so yeah, so he goes, that's the idea, sort of like, and wants to and as he moves or reaches for his blaster, Rima already has her 2 blasters out, and combat is about to begin. Okay, so combat matrix. So combat is about to begin. I just put down their stats. So Rima, she goes first and she shoots with her blaster, and she's got deadly attack with her blaster pistols, meaning she crits on 18+. She's dual wielding, meaning she rolls damage with advantage. Let me double check, but I think that's it. And she's also has deadly accuracy, meaning she can re-roll a 1 on the damage die. Okay, dual wielding, yes. You roll the damage die of both weapons and keep the higher result, which is basically the same because they are both a d6. Okay, yeah, so that's both damage die. And she attacks +4. And oh, damn, no, sorry, I gotta re-roll this because the red die is Rima's. Damn, that was a natural 20, but that's my inner monk. It was the wrong die. So she shoots and misses. So she, even though she gets her blasters out quick and shoots, the guy is quick as well. He quickly sidesteps and shoots again. And for cinematic purposes, whenever Rima is not hit or not wounded, In the fiction, she is hit, but the bolts just glance off her armor. So he attacks +3 versus 19. This doesn't count. We can leave the damage. That is already starting great. But 9 + 3, that is not enough. So Rima doesn't bother dodging. Pew! He shoots. He's got a heavy blaster pistol, DL-44, but the bolt just glances off her armor, and he stares at her in shock as she retaliates. Pew, pew, with her 2 blasters. Yes, 14, that's a hit, and you roll 2 die and count the higher one, so that is 6, and her blasters are modified. They deal +1, that is 7 points of damage, so he's at 5. Okay, let's just say for cinematic purposes that he barely dodged, is nicked at the shoulder, and shoots again. Pew! 15 + 3, 18. Close, but no. So this bolt glances off her shoulder pauldron. Pew! Remember, she's still not wearing her helmet. And now it's her turn again. And that's a 12. That's a hit. He's got AC 12 for 6 points of damage. So that takes him out. There's no stun. She didn't switch to stun. So, yeah, he shoots, pew, pew, and the bolts, pew, pew, glance off her armor, and she just, pew, pew, puts 2 bolts in him. He goes down, smoldering holes in his chest. And now, before she looks around to see if anybody reacts, she quickly takes her helmet and puts her helmet back on, just to be sure. Because, yeah, it gives her a little extra edge. And she looks around, and they look at her, but nobody makes a move or anything. And she just goes, "Anybody else?" And they shake their heads and mind their own business. And then she turns to the barkeep and says, "Well, I'm sorry about the mess, but you've seen it. He started it. Yeah, you better. I don't know where you come from and what's your business here, stranger, but if you got a ship, you better board your ship and get out of here." "Why?" See, there are some folks here that don't take lightly to being to one of their own being gunned down. So there are some movers and shakers here," she goes. "Why didn't you tell me before?" "As I said, it's not really your business. I mean, we're not having any trouble." "Well, guess I gotta stir up some things then." "What crew does this guy belong to?" she goes. And what she does is she searches him, takes his comlink, and cred ships. Let's see, he's got 1d6 times 100 credits. 400 credits. So she goes, he won't be needing those, and takes the credit ship. And she passes 100 credits to the barkeeper and says, "For your troubles." You know what? No, she passes all those 400 to the barkeeper. So she's still at 9,000. "For your troubles," she goes. "I'm going to keep the comlink." So she turns again to face the bartender. "Last chance to tell me who those movers and shakers are." Let's make a interaction roll. She's got interaction as a skill, so she does get advantage, and it's a DC 15. DC 15. She doesn't have a charisma modifier, but interaction skill. 19, thanks to the advantage. Okay, so the guy goes, "Well, If you must know, there's a gang operating here called the Undertakers. And Rima just nods. Heard of him, she goes. Yeah, well, he belonged to them. They're pretty influential in these parts. And if I were you, I should lay low. I would lay low because they're probably coming looking for you. Well, let them come. Actually, I'm looking for them. You know where I can find their headquarters? And he goes, well, you didn't hear this from me, but there's this large casino at the southern outskirt of town. Can't miss it. They usually hang out there. I see. Casino, southern outskirts. Got it. And then she just turns around and makes a fancy move with her blasters, like swiveling them around, and then holsters them and walks out of the bar. And this is where we'll end this episode. And yeah, we will continue shortly with Rima Vess on Ulbeck in Beccara Junction, looking for the Undertaker Lieutenant. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little Western flavored episode, and I'll thank you for watching. And please do like, subscribe, comment, do all this YouTube stuff. And as always, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye bye.